so Thursday is done. Let's move on to this week's Sunday Showdowns. Every week we break down the weekend action. We give you the starts, the sits, guys that you should maybe pay a little more attention to as well. So let's look at each Sunday matchup, starting with a game that we would really be looking forward to. It was an offensive explosion between Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, but we're a little not so feeling great about it.
Not really. I'm saying beware of Aaron Jones. I mean, neither one of these teams is going to have their normal complement of wide receivers. Look, the Packer passing game has not been very good to start the year. Tampa Bay has been great defensively, especially on the ground. Plus, they have been loading up the box. 8 or more defenders in the box, more than just about any other team in the league. So I feel like if you're the Bucs, you're going to focus on taking Aaron Jones away and force Aaron Rodgers to try to beat you with his group of wide receivers. So, look, you probably got to start him. I understand it. I just don't expect much out of him this week.
And when you're able to stack the box like that, it's because you trust your cornerbacks and defensive backs to cover the wide receivers because you're pretty good in that spot, which is why I'm sitting all of the Packers wide receivers this week. Now, obviously, Aaron Rodgers had a little bit of success last week going up against the rookie Kyler Gordon, which again is one of the reasons why Bears Twitter was melting down last night. But the Bucs don't have that issue, and they'll be able to shut down these Packer wide receivers. I'm really interested to see how the Packers are going to be attacking this team. I think you put more trust in Aaron Jones, but it's got to be reliant upon A.J. Dillon getting the ball moving as well. So this is going to be a tough one. And it's almost to the point where you don't want to start Aaron Rodgers either.
All right, well, $1 Bill McNeil has a question about the other running back, Marcus. A.J. Dillon or Rashad Penny against the Falcons for $1 Bill's RB2?
Well, $1 Bill, I think I would go with Rashad Penny in this one. Again, I just think it's going to be a low-scoring game between the Bucs and the Packers, and I like Penny's matchup a little bit more against the Falcons this week.
Now we got a matchup of 2 undefeated teams in the AFC. That is the Buffalo Bills traveling to Miami. Who we sitting, Mark?
We're sitting Devin Singletary. And I like Devin Singletary as a player. I think he's very good. The problem is there are just too many running backs there in Buffalo that are getting opportunities. You got Singletary, you got Zach Moss is still there. James Cook played a little bit more in week 2 than we're used to seeing. Plus, Josh Allen, is going to take some of those rushing opportunities. So, look, I like the fact that when Singletary's on the field, he's getting the ball. He's just not on the field that much because they have so many guys to rotate through.
I'm taking a sit in this one as well, and I know we're thinking there's going to be points, and we saw Mike Gesicki get this touchdown against the Baltimore Ravens, but Tua's not going to throw for 11 billion yards every single game. The Bills' defense has only allowed 1 passing score this season. We're not as worried as we were at the start of the season when it was like, oh, Mike Gesicki's learning how to play tight end now.
Right.
But it's just not going to be like it was last week. Let's go to the Chiefs and the Colts, a rematch of the epic 2013 playoff game, right?
I'm going to say that you need to start Juju Smith-Schuster in this game. You know what? Yeah, one of the things that we talked about in the offseason with the absence of Tyreek Hill is that they were going to be spreading the ball around. And they have. We've seen it. He's gone to a lot of different people. But Juju has been one of the more consistent guys that he's gone to. Outside of Travis Kelce, I would say that Juju is his most reliable receiver. So in a game that we expect, this could be a little bit high scoring too, I expect Juju Smith-Schuster to be eating in this one.
I will take a must start because I do agree, Rank. The Colts will need at least to score some points, and they need to get Michael Pittman Jr. back. The offense was bad without him. They really struggled to score. They're going to need to keep pace with KC. I would rather deal with, let's say, a floor of Michael Pittman Jr. having 8 points than to worry about him coming back off an injury and then see him score 26 points on my bench. Yeah. I just don't want to be in that situation. Must start Michael Pittman Jr. And if we haven't hit your game yet for Sunday, it's okay.
Okay, it's the 8.
We're just starting.
We're going to keep the Sunday Showdowns moving here on
Don't go to the comments. These guys didn't talk about my game.
Let's get back to our Sunday Showdowns. Please. We enjoy Sunday Showdowns. It's the Eagles and the Commanders. A lot of revenge in the air in this one, Marcus.
There is. I got a sleeper, though. It's Logan Thomas. Logan Lucky, because who doesn't want to see Daniel Craig as like a Southern NASCAR Danny Ocean type thief? Anyway, the point is, I want Logan Thomas.
Is that a movie?
It is. It's Adam Driver. It's a whole fun thing. They do a heist. Just sort of like I think Logan Thomas can maybe heist a touchdown or two, even if he's not getting a ton of routes. He's getting a good target share in a game that's going to be high scoring with an offense that throws the ball a lot. So stream him if that's what you like to do.
Yeah, if you like to do that, or if you like to be Daniel Craig's Southern accent, which sounds like Colonel Sanders.
Just like Knives Out,
Anyway.
too. Go see that one,
Was
too.
he going with a Southern accent? Oh, I got to see this.
Antonio Gibson is going to be a sit in this one for me. The last time the Eagles played him was Week 15 a year ago. He had less than 2 yards a carry. This Eagles defense is better than that Eagles defense, considering what they did to Dalvin Cook and Kirk Cousins last week, or in fact on Monday night. You might not have a choice but to play Antonio Gibson, but if you're in a league where you've got options, especially at the flex, I think you could consider a switch there. Let's go to the Lions and the Vikings. I am fired up for this game, right?
So am I. This is going to be an offensive explosion, and we have a must start with Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's not just a passive start.
2 words there.
Must start. He absolutely has to be in your lineup. As you see right there, the numbers on the board are correct. 25 plus fantasy points in 4 out of his last 5 games. And I remember all the way back in summer when all the think pieces were coming out about like, oh, this is why you should fade Amon-Ra St. Brown this season. Oh no, this guy broke out last year for a specific purpose. And despite the fact that, there's been some changes made, people are going to take away targets. No. This guy is just a great receiver. Set your lineup, forget it. You never take him out.
And that is why I think that you should start Amon-Ra St. Brown's quarterback, Jared. Fantasy Live here in 2022. 6 touchdowns, 1 interception this season. He's getting 21 points per game in his last 3 games against the Minnesota Vikings, who are allowing the 4th most passing yards this season. The roar is restored. Jared Goff.
There's still one.
Start him. Start him. He's going to throw it to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Rams-Cardinals in a divisional rivalry game, Marcus.
That's right, I got a sleeper.
Who's that?
The new Dortch bearer in Arizona.
Oh.
Sorry. Greg Dortch. Look, he's been really good the last couple of games. And look, the week 1, he had double-digit fantasy points. I'm like, it's kind of a fluke. Week 2, he did it again. And I started to look at the fact that he's on the field a lot. He's getting a lot of targets. It's pretty much him and Marquise Brown as the top 2 targets for Kyler Murray. I think this is going to be a higher scoring game against the Rams. They're going to throw the football a lot. So Greg Dortch has some sleeper appeal. I'm not telling you to start him as your wide receiver 2. He's like a flex option in case you need help there. I like Dortch.
I'm going to come out and say that you need to start Matthew Stafford this week against the Arizona Cardinals. He has averaged over 20 fantasy points per game against the Cardinals, especially over his last 4. You see there, deuces are wild. And here's the thing, the road team won each one of these contests last year, in case you favor things of that nature. But Matt, you know what? It's too passive. He's a must start.
There it is.
I'm upgrading him.
Upgrade.
He just went from start to must start.
In-show upgrade.
In-show upgrade. I don't know if they can fix the graphics or anything like that.
All right. Well, since you're upgrading quarterbacks, this is a question for Marianne Rank. Are we starting Aaron Rodgers against the Bucs or Kyler against the Rams?
I feel a little bit more comfortable going with Kyler Murray because he's going to probably run the ball a little bit more. That's one of the things that we noticed last week in Las Vegas, his ability to run the football, got into the end zone a couple of times on his own. He didn't need anybody. So I think that Kyler Murray should be considered top 5, whereas Aaron Rodgers is more of like a borderline QB1.
Yeah, Kyler put the team on his back against the Raiders, who are next up in our Sunday Showdown, taking a trip to Nashville. Marcus, what are we doing?
I got a deep sleeper, and it's Austin Hooper. Look, the Titans passing game has been low volume. It has not been very exciting. And I don't know that it necessarily is going to morph into some high-flying passing game this week, but if you're talking about a deep sleeper at tight end, you're talking about a guy with touchdown upside. Austin Hooper actually among the target leaders in this Titans offense. My one concern, though, Taylor Lewan not playing, maybe they leave him in to block a little bit more, but if you're streaming, if you're in a deep league and you need help, I'll take a shot at him, maybe catching one in the painted area, and that's really all you really want at this point.
Something you should have no worry about. It's a Devonte Adams who is a must-start in this game against the Tennessee Titans. Like, not only is the matchup incredible, I think that with some of the injuries surrounding the Raiders wide receiver core, and really, when you're down and you're 0-2 and you need to go out there and win a game, you're going to go to the guy that you rely on the most. And Derek Carr relies on Devonte Adams the most. And by the way, this is the 3rd time in NFL history that 2 playoff teams have met in week 3, both of them being 0-2. The road team has won each one of those contests. Trends, baby.
I see.
I'm all about the trends.
Up the Saints And the Panthers, Marcus.
I think you can start Chris Olave this week. It feels like he's been on the verge of a really big breakout game. He actually leads all NFL wide receivers in air yards. That was coming into week 3. Had 307 on his own in week 2. And he's getting a ton of targets. So it's not like they're just sending him downfield on missions and like having him get his steps in. They're actually throwing him the football. At some point, he and Jameis Winston are going to start connecting on some of these throws. And I think it happens a little bit this week. So I think the big breakout's coming. I think you stay with Chris Olave.
And I think it's going to happen more once Jameis gets healthy. But until then, I say you start Mark Ingram. He had the fumble that changed the game against the Bucs, yes. But around that time, in that game, he had 6 yards per carry. And he's got the most touches of anyone on the entire team right now. As long as Jameis is dealing with this injury, I think they're going to rely a little bit more on the backs. Alvin Kamara comes back. Let's say Alvin plays in this game. I think you could honestly play both of them. The Panthers gave up 200 on the ground to Cleveland, 100 to the Giants, and Saquon. Look for the Saints to grind it out on Sunday. A team that cannot run the ball right now, the Baltimore Ravens, taking on the New England Patriots. What are we doing there?
Oh, okay. I'm going to go with the deep sleeper. Isaiah Likely. Yeah, this is a deep album cut off the Ravens album here. But this is the thing. Like, normally, you don't pick up the second tight end on a team unless it's the Ravens. Then it's like their number 2 guy. Now, Rashad Bateman also did not practice on Friday. He's expected to play on Sunday. But at the same time, we've seen a lot more usage for Isaiah Likely. I'm not saying that you put him into your lineup this week, but it's worth rostering him at this point.
Yeah, I will take another Raven as we monitor the situation for Rashad Bateman, and that's Devin Duvernay, who's back out of the concussion protocol, has yet to miss a single one of his targets thus far this season. He was involved in the run game last year, perhaps a spot to play that card, considering the issues they've had in the backfield as we wait for J.K. Dobbins to get back. He had these numbers with 50% of the snaps, getting 16 yards per target. He's outperforming that. I think if Devin Duvernay is going to play more, he's going to do it this week. Let's go to the Bengals and the Jets. 2 teams giving us some surprises early this year, Marcus.
Definitely. I'm going to say you can start Joe Burrow. And this is more, I think, reassuring people who have him. I mean, look, I was in the parking lot of a local Jamaican eatery, and somebody drove by me and asked me if I should worry about Joe Burrow. And I said, no. He's going to be fine. He's not going to be facing any major pass rushes this week like he did in week 1 against the Steelers, week 2 against the Cowboys. The protection issues, I think they get them under control, and I think this is going to be a high-scoring game for the Bengals.
And on the other side of the ball, I would say that Breece Hall is a start for you. He's had a decent start of his NFL career. At least 10 fantasy points in back-to-back games to open up here. But the most important thing to me is what you see right there. 5.6 yards per rush this season. And it's a really good matchup against the Bengals, who've allowed a lot of touchdowns inside the red zone. Once teams crack that red area, they get into the end zone at an average of 75% of the time. So for that reason, I'm starting Breece Hall with confidence.
Yeah, waiting for him to break one of those long runs. Here's a bonus question from Fidel Soccer for you, Marcus. Who does he start? T. Higgins or Drake London?
I feel like that's just humble bragging about 2 guys that you have on your roster. But I'll tell you what, I think you start T. Higgins just because, all things being equal, I feel like the Bengals have a chance to score more points than the Falcons do. So I think there's more opportunity for Higgins there.
An opportunity for me to give you some spatial awareness regarding our facility here at NFL LA. Normally, I point that direction for SoFi Stadium. We're pointing in this direction for SoFi Stadium to tell you kind of where we are in the building because we're back here in LA.
It's still over here.
No, we're still there.
It's still there.
It's still there?
Yeah, we're still
I'm pointing in the
You were
I'm turned
correct.
around. Oh my gosh.
It's still okay.
You're
It's
still right.
that way. I'm so turned around here in the podcast studio. Jags, Chargers. SoFi is over there. Marcus, what are we doing once I figure out where the stadium is?
I think you can use Evan Ingram as a sleeper tight end this week. And I know I'm probably going to feel a little bit nauseous when, I'm saying this out loud, but it looks like he's becoming a thing in Jacksonville. He's played more than 70% of the snaps. He's got almost an 18% target share. They're throwing him the football. He's making plays. He hasn't dropped the pass. That was the thing that pretty much got him run out of New York. He just couldn't hold on to the football. He's doing that. The Chargers are giving up yardage in chunks to tight ends, about 13 yards per reception. So it really does look like Evan Ingram is a thing down there in Duval.
Yeah, he's looking pretty good, but one tight end I might be a little bit concerned about is Gerald Everett. And he's got a tough matchup this week against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who've actually done a really nice job of limiting tight ends this season, and with their quarterback situation for the Chargers being undecided at this point, I just don't know. I didn't get a chance to talk to Chase Daniel this week. He wasn't a part of the game day final program on Monday night because I would have asked him, like, dude, are you going to throw the ball to Gerald Everett? Like, who's your favorite receiver? I will get to the bottom of this on Monday, but for right now, I just don't know. So I'm a little bit concerned about Gerald Everett. I would start Evan Ingram over him.
Chase could be busy this week, right?
Whatever.
He might have some
Take
things
my call,
to
dude.
do. More Sunday showdowns coming up for you here on NFL Fantasy Live, including the Niners and the Broncos. Getting a look at that matchup that's coming up. And what are we doing in it, Marcus?
I think we're sitting Russell Wilson, which is, I know that wasn't what we thought coming into the season. We were all excited. We were all Broncos, let's ride. But it really hasn't worked out that way. I don't expect a lot of plays or points in this game. These are two of these slower-paced offenses in the league. This Bronco offense still looking for consistency. I don't expect them to necessarily rev it up against a 49er defense that's been pretty good the first 2 weeks of the season. So if you have another option on your roster, I would consider that this week.
I've got to sit on the other side, Marcus, and that's Brandon Ayuk. He's playing the Broncos, who are allowing the fewest fantasy points to wideouts in the entire league. And no wideouts have gotten to the end zone. And this is a guy who's topped 100 yards in his last 21 games, one time. I think we can do better than Brandon Ayuk Sunday. Let's get to Houston and Chicago. Rank, which Bear are you coming out in support of? No.
No. We're going to be saying start Damien Pierce. See, this is one of the benefits of doing a Chicago Bears podcast, is that we get insight on the opposing teams. And talking to Mark Vandermeer this week, the Texans are committed to getting Damien Pierce more involved this week and actually moving forward. Like, Rex Burkhead's great, and it's fun to have him out there. But Damien Pierce is really the guy they want to focus on, and they could have a good matchup this week against the Bears. They could be down a couple of their linebackers. Jack Sanborn might be making his first start as a rookie out of Wisconsin. So Damien Pierce, got to start him this week.
And let's go to the bird battle, the Falcons and the Seahawks. What are we doing there, Rank?
You know what? A sleeper for me, and it's
sleeper.
Unfortunate to say, but it's Tyler Lockett. And I hate calling him a sleeper, but like, this
where we are now.
This hasn't been a very prolific passing offense for the Seahawks. Like, it's one of those situations where you're like, gosh, like, they have two of the best receivers, like one of the best receiving tandems of all of the NFL, but I don't think that it's fully utilized. So unfortunately, you can't start Lockett every week, but I love the matchup against the Falcons, who've allowed the third most fantasy points per games to wide receivers this season.